Good morning and welcome to our Ashworth Wealth Weekly Market Update. My name is Scott Thomas. I came across an interesting graph and some interesting information that I wanted to pass along this morning. Let me share it here. The graph I wanted to share is about the dollar and how the dollar is doing relative to other currencies around the world, namely the euro and the yen. Those are usually the two that we compare it to. And I wanted to kind of go through this and talk about number one, why it went up so quickly, and number two, why it's gone down so quickly and what we can expect going forward. So if you go back on this graph to November 2024, so obviously that's right when the election happened, there was a lot of enthusiasm that the new administration would put policies in place that would really help the economy to take off. And there was a lot of enthusiasm about the markets. And because of that, the dollar went to the highest uh, or was the strongest it's been against the yen and the euro since the 1980s. So that was a very good thing. Just to give you an idea, at the height of the dollar against those currencies back in mid-January of this year, we were up about 10.8% versus the yen since November, and about 5.9 versus the euro for the year. But we've seen a significant drop off since then. So since that happened, we're down about 4.4%. So why is that? What has caused that? Well, the shift is mainly due to the tariff scare that we're going through right now. And because of that, there is a greater chance that we will have interest rate cuts by the end of the year. In fact, I looked at some different economists this morning and was looking at what their predictions are. And it looks like right now, because inflation came back at the lowest monthly increase in 4 years last month, that is a good thing. The inflation is now seems to be under control, at least for the time being. But it looks like there could be at least one and maybe two rate cuts by the end of the year. So because we could have rate cuts, and because of the ongoing tariffs, there's many economists that think that the tariffs could actually hurt us more than it will hurt the foreign markets. So because of that, there's just uncertainty. And like we talk about all the time with in our meetings, the one thing that markets do not like is uncertainty. And right now there's a lot of uncertainty. So because of that, we've seen the dollar that gained substantial amounts versus these other currencies. It's basically come back and we've lost most of the gains that we had since the first of the year. So what does that mean looking ahead? What we anticipate, and like I said, I did a little bit of research this morning and kind of looked at what people are thinking. The Fed actually just met this week and decided not to cut interest rates or do anything with them for right now. I think the Fed is just as confused as we are right now as to what's going to happen with these tariffs. I think that this will right itself, and in a month or two, we'll know much better what's going on with tariff. I don't see that we're going to have long-term tariffs. I think this is more of a tool to get these countries to the table to renegotiate some of the agreements we've had and to make a more even playing field. But until that stabilizes, I think the dollar is going to continue to struggle against these other currencies. As far as interest rates go, what I think will happen is, at least as of right now, we probably won't hear anything as far as interest rate cuts until probably midsummer. And I believe the next meeting will be in June, or at least one of the articles I read, one of the economists thought that the earliest we could have a rate cut would be June, and then possibly another in December. And if that were the case, the Fed funds rate would be down to between 3.75 and 4%. So we don't know. It's going to be very interesting over the next month or two to see whether these tariffs stick, whether we go back and renegotiate with some of these other countries with our agreements back and forth. It's going to be very interesting to see, but I think in the meantime, we're still going to have volatility. One other thing that I wanted to mention. I had a couple client meetings this week where we talked about the US markets. We talked about why we continue to be diversified. It's been very interesting to see as our markets have really had a hard last couple of weeks. It's been interesting to see that the international markets have actually done very well. And again, that's just a testament to being diversified. And we're going to continue to preach being diversified. And as we're having issues, or the Europeans are having issues, or there's issues in Asia, we want to make sure that we're very well balanced to take advantage of any opportunities that we can, both here and abroad. Again, as usual, we've had some very good questions that people have emailed in. If you do have something you'd like us to address, or you have any kind of a question about what I went over today, please let us know. And we look forward to doing this again here in the next couple of weeks. Thank you.